It sounds like Gujarati, but it's not quite Gujarati. But can I say that Indo-Aryan languages, educated, they have gone to a primary school, maybe secondary school, but they speak a language which they call Noling, Nauling, but it is the Portuguese language. So can we say that Portuguese is alive in India? No. The whole ecosystem of culture, a huge load of cultural memories, and all of that makes a language a language. A language is not an existence in the present alone. Many layers of the past carried at its underbelly.
I must ask this question. A few years ago, when we had a huge music festival where we had dancers, singers from various tribal and endangered languages. One of the reporters in the news, the conference that we had,
I have given up my languages, learnt, I have progressed in life, right? And you are now asking us to go back to our languages. He said this is all conspiracy. So how do we respond to that very genuine question?
Well, Dr. Ambedkar, for example, that is a means of power empowerment, and he was right. He was right. But when people ask you and me that, look, your children, municipality schools in some backwaters, is there no injustice? The answer is yes. There is injustice. The answer is, just as we want them to learn their languages, some of us should also learn their languages. Are we ready to study their language? Not otherwise. So we study their languages only for exploiting them. I think that's a very good argument, and I will suggest to every languages, if we want them to continue to learn, let your children, because language is very important. I think we are indirectly justifying the.
How do you look at more and more and more state governments implementing this English language?
Multilingual country, and thank goodness they thought about this, because the countries which became monolingual in the 19th century, two countries whose nationalistic movements, unification movements were monolingual. One was Italy, other was Germany. In the 20th century, both these countries emerged as fascist countries. Let's think of why fascism emerges out of monolingualism. Let's think of that. It's a necessary thing. Now, we accepted this, through so many agitations, movements, people's movements in Punjab. People died for getting state for Punjabi, and here for Telugu state. Violent agitations happen in Maharashtra, everywhere. Even for Maithili and for Odia, there had to be, and for Bengal, Wanga Banga movement in 1905 till becoming of Bangladesh. There's a long people's movement around language. All that is possible to have hundreds of schools for them, but we can have 100 teachers for them, and children can be brought to teachers from different schools. It's possible to do that. We are not doing it, and therefore, in Karnataka, so many court cases happened. Government wanted to impose Kannada on how we can keep as many Indian languages alive as possible by creating language-sensitive education policies. States will always say that we will start. There was a time when states did not fund any English medium. Today there is demand from the people, and the state is responding to that demand. You create English medium schools because they look at it as something progressive. But people like us will have to spare time from our vocations. Some of us, will have to sacrifice our own interests, come together, talk to the state, talk to the people. A popular language-sensitive education movement has to emerge in this country. Till then, what Jyotiba Phule did in the Savitri Bai Phule did in the 19th century for women's education.
No question about it. And then they are learning Hindi because that increases just as a convenience, career-wise, if they migrate to other places. That's it. Whatever the argument, Hindi works better right now in the country wherever one goes. Fine. Now, the third language. Why, as a mother, I have chosen French for my daughter. Why? Because as it is, sciences, math, all those things are, pressurizing the children so much. Now, I don't want Telugu, which is so difficult, the curriculum. Now, Sanduru, you have Samasalu, you have Chandasu, all that. Let it take French. Scoring is very easy. Now, I think our educationists are doing an injustice to our languages by not rationalizing the curriculum at the school level. Why is our language made so difficult? And French, they are learning just words and sentences. It won't help them in future. I know that. Just as a convenience I have taken.
It's a simple answer. An animal has to appear for language examination only after 1842. In 1842 in Britain, a mighty people's movement emerged. It was called the Chartist movement, and children were rebelling. They were asking for equal days wages for equal days labor. The government decided to punish them by teaching them English language and setting an examination. And you asked me this question, but I'll ask a counter question to all of you. Think of when a child learns language, and the clear scientific answer is, if you go to Lacan, Jacques Lacan, from the age of 8th month to the 18th month, the child has almost imbibed the entire manner of articulating language, and up to the age of 3.5, the child understands the entire grammar completely. After the age of 3.5, no child actually has to be taught its own language. But our children have to go up to the age of 18, passing language examinations every year, because it is a kind of education system we accepted. My suggestion is, let there be language exposure, but there should not be language examinations. It's a fraud. Language examination is a fraud. It's a fraud. Believe me. What do teachers mark a child for? Writing grammatically correct sentence, but that's scientifically not accurate, because no standard language alone is language. All dialects are also language. This marking, giving marks for children for writing language examination is a fraud on human society. Please think of this. We have all been willing part of it. We all carried this forward. A child knows the entire language of the home by the time child is 3.5. So, our agitation should not be about why Telugu should be so difficult but French should be so easy. Our agitation should be about why there should be language. Has any school set examination to you for knowing whether you can breathe or not? Not so far. It will come very soon, because the yoga classes, you must pass first certificate yoga, second, then whether you breathe or not, the state would want to know. Yeah, because the state thinks that you can breathe because of its mercy. No, we will have to recast our education and make language an enjoyable learning. Whether it's French, German, Telugu, Marathi, whatever. But that kind of radical thinking will require popular support, and for that popular support we need a popular movement, and to create such a popular movement many of us will have to give their time voluntarily, come together and create a scientific Bhasha movement. Thank you.